Namaste friends, welcome back to Anadi Anattam, your own channel where we discuss topics related to Sanatana Dharma. Now today is a very interesting topic that we will touch upon and that pertains to women liberation. So we will try to see what liberation actually means and who are these women who are perceived to be liberated and what is it that they are liberated from. And another important question which I will ask you here is, do you think whether the men are bound or liberated? Are the men liberated or not? Who are we comparing women with when we say that women are liberated or not so liberated, right? So do you think that those women who carry out the household chores are preparing nourishment for the family in the form of varieties of dishes and food? Are these women liberated or are they not? What do you think? Right? So what are we really referring to when we say that when we speak of the term liberation, women liberation? Now, I think personally that liberation really means that you have to do nothing, correct? In terms of work. So if you say that somebody is liberated and somebody is bound, they are bound by something, right? So there is some particular activity in this particular context. So there is some particular activity. Now, do you think the men are inactive? So if we say that women are not liberated, if they are speaking about dharma, if they are following Stri dharma, and if they are following certain traditional practices, they are not liberated, they are bound. If you make such an argument, then what will be your argument about the men? Do you think the men are liberated or not? No? So, what is this thought and what is this perception? So, what people really think is, and women nowadays are feel it quite compulsive to be competitive and race against the men, right? So there is a competition going on between the men and women. But why? Uh, Nature has come up with these two genders, right? Specifically, the male gender, the masculine and the feminine, right? And this is observable in all species, not just human beings. So even in trees and plants, there is the masculine and there is the feminine. Even in birds, there is a masculine gender and there is a feminine gender. Now, even in animals, in the animal kingdom, there is a masculine gender and the feminine gender. So, do you think these women folk in the other species are not liberated? So, if you find a pair of dove flying across the sky, one is a male and another is a female, which one will you say that they are liberated? Is the male dove liberated or the female dove liberated? Right? So, just because the female form or the feminine form has this great ability, wonderful ability of reproduction and carrying out the process of creation further to the next level, the next generation, do you say that they are not liberated or they are weak in one way or the other? And the masculine gender, which has the seed, which is sowing the seed for the coming of the next generation, is it bound or liberated? Now, coming back to our own human species, what do you think in these terms when we think upon on these lines? What perception do you really have? Just because a woman is being competitive with their male counterpart and they are able to achieve certain things, certain career goals or professional goals, or they are able to portray themselves outside in the external world among a set of strangers, does it really make her better, or does it really, and if she is performing the same tasks within a certain household environment, would you say that her competitiveness or her skills or her capabilities are um, not at par? Why is that so? Because if we really look closely, I have myself worked in the corporate sector. If you really take a close look at this, when you are in a corporate and when you are in a professional arena, the maximum you can do is handle one particular function, a job role, a specific job role. But when you look at the household management is nothing less than the work of a CEO. Why? Because the person needs to have the ability to wear on different hats at the same time. There is delegation, there is cooperation, coordination, there is management, right? So, and everything, all of this has to be done uh, with no rewards, right? That is, one is there is no reward. Second, there is there is no pay for this, right? You are not working for some salary. Here you are working for love, right? So what do you think is great? Working for a salary like a donkey, or working out of your own creative expression, right? For your love for others. So that also includes a mindset of inclusiveness, of binding people together and keeping them together as a family, right? Understanding people's emotions, understanding their psychological needs. It's very easy to understand certain physical needs like hunger, food, thirst, but how is a person able to perceive the psychological needs of another person? Okay? So this is something, certain natural abilities or capabilities which nature has bestowed upon the women gender, the women folk. And no, if we are talking about liberation, the men and women equally are bound and they have to make efforts to liberate themselves. Liberation is when you have to do nothing. There is no more compulsion for you to do anything, right? That will be ideal liberation. So just by interchanging your functionality with something else, or changing your routine from one set of tasks to another set of tasks, doesn't really mean that you are liberated. So people who think that just because a woman is driving a car, just because she is able to have her own finances, uh, or just because she is able to take her own calls without having the need to take suggestions, or without having to talk to anybody on something, she is liberated. No, it's not like that. You are unnecessarily putting pressure or stress on your own self by trying to compete with a certain difference in gender and functionality which nature has incorporated in all species, not just human beings, right? So if nature has brought certain things into practice, in habit, then it is necessary to be aligned with it. That is what will really and truly liberate you, right? Now, if you think that you have to be copying somebody or imitating somebody just to prove your worth or prove yourself, then that is a very sad part. Because happiness is not in trying to prove yourself, but just in being yourself. Don't you think so? So I leave this I leave you with this thought, and we will come back together again on another video discussing this or some other more topics which are interesting to everybody in this modern world. Right? Thank you. Namaste. See you again.